Yo, what's happening, everybody? We are live. Rick Kamla and Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. We're the Fantasy NBA Today, brought to you by FanDuel. We have our great producer, Andre Lamouche, with us as well. And Doc, we're excited to be on the air with you guys. Our NBA draft guide is up right now. It's badass. Our projections are up. Please go investigate that. And a little heads up for everybody watching on Twitter. Not every offseason episode is going to be available here on X, so make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed to catch every episode and stay in the loop. I know a lot of you have been with us the entire offseason. Doc, before we dive into some news, what up, bro?
Ready to roll, man. I had a draft on Monday. I have a draft today. Like, NBA draft season is upon us. These are early, but it's here, man.
Yeah, excited, man. We're here to help you dominate these drafts, set yourself up with a badass team, and then go ahead and win chips, because obviously you can't just, I killed the draft and fall asleep. You got to maneuver the waiver wire, make a trade or two, and be a great GM. That's what it's about. We're here to help you with that. Doc, some things to talk about here. Shams Charania of ESPN talked about what Ant-Man's been working on in the offseason. I literally just called him out yesterday on my WNBA podcast. I forget the tangent I was on, but I was like, Ant-Man, you need to come back with something new. It can't be the same. And the same is like, fine, but if you want to win a chip and you want to advance the story here, you got to add tools to your tool belt every year. Shams Charania was talking about he's working on a low post game, a mid post game, a pinch post game, an elbow post up game, and like a turnaround fadeaway mid range game, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That might be the most unstoppable shot in basketball. Also, like the Kevin Durant pull up in the mid range, right? Unstoppable. Nobody can get up to it. But when SGA comes downhill on you, slams on the brakes and just hits you with that baby fadeaway, dude, there's nothing you can do about it except hope that he misses. So, did you see this news? So the idea here, Doc, is to reduce the amount of three-point makes. And Shams said he's been studying Jordan and Kobe and their footwork. This is all exciting stuff.
Absolutely it is. What we didn't want to hear is he's really been working on his three-point shot this offseason and ignoring everything else. Like that is what I did not want to hear. And actually, this sounds like the Ant-Man that I thought we might see last year, because I thought coming into last year he was going to have this killer instinct and channel Kobe and Jordan and like take over the league. And all he did really, he did more than shoot three-pointers, but he shot a lot of three-pointers, a lot of fadeaways, and just a lot of bad shots. So, if he's going to be aggressive and take it to the paint, he's going to be fun, man. And, I'm currently, if given the choice, I'm taking Cade Cunningham over Ant, but this news gives me pause. Like now I'm sort of like, maybe I want Ant-Man there. Because if he's aggressive and wants to get to the rack, then like nobody can stop him.
He's still going to be at 3 threes a game. We just can't have 10, 11 three-point attempts, which leads to 4.1, 4.2 makes, which is an outstanding number. It's right up there with Steph Curry. But that's not in the best interest of Ant-Man and the Wolves. It's just not sustainable. That the shot drifts, your legs kind of give out on you a little bit. You got to be able to cook in the mid-range. That was a big hurdle that LeBron James had to get over. He did so against the Spurs when he broke through. So big news on Ant-Man. Doc, I already had him at 5, so I can't move him up any higher. I was already super high on Ant-Man. This news kind of supports maybe what I wanted to hear, right? Like on Wemby, what I wanted to hear, I've heard. Bam, he's number 1. Edwards was already number 5, so all this does is sort of validate. Boom. I think he is the best of the rest after the big 4. All right, let's move on here. Ant-Man, way to go. Zion Williamson, Doc, we have to talk about this because visuals of him once again went viral. Now, the difference between him looking good and looking fit, and he's got like the grown-ass man facial hair and he looks ready for battle, Doc. You can't Photoshop a media day press conference. You can't Photoshop that. You can maybe Photoshop a camp photo with kids, but Zion does look good, admittedly. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he looked good last year too, coming in, and we saw how that went. He's still Zion. He's still in New Orleans. Ben Simmons is shooting 3-pointers, and Andre Drummond's working on 3-pointers, and this guy's doing that. Till I see it in action, I don't really care. I mean, I'm not drafting Zion. I honestly like the Anthony Edwards chat we just had. Like, that moves the needle for me. Like, that is attention grabbing and valid and makes me excited about Ant. A positive report on Zion in mid-September doesn't really do a lot for me.
I agree. Zion, you've lost us, bro. LaMelo Ball, you've lost us. Brandon Ingram, you've lost us. Doc, they've lost us. It's not our fault. It's their fault. They don't love the game. Ben Simmons, you've lost us. Okay? We've moved on, dude. The show must go on. Doc, this is showbiz, bro. The show must go on. You ain't getting it done. Next man up. So that it doesn't move my needle at all. I still have Zion buried in my rankings. If he plays 75 games this year and goes 25, 9, and 7 with 1-1, okay, then next year I'll maybe reevaluate this. But Doc, I made a vow. You know how many shares I had of Zion Williamson last year? I had him all over the place. I bought into the hype. I got him in the 4th round of a lot of leagues, and he blew up on me again. So, Zion, you're dead to me, bro. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so this is how we feel. Quickly, Doc, what would be your recommendation to somebody out there who's objective and has a clean slate on Zion and does not have all this built up negativity? What would you tell them? Ooh, he looks kind of good. You should dip your toe in that water. Or would you recommend to somebody else run for your life?
I mean, it depends on where you're going to get him. I mean, I think he's falling so far in drafts now that you don't have to take him in the 4th round. You can get him later than that. I would say if you can get Zion around round 6, then he's definitely worth the flyer. But can you get Zion in round 6? I was trying to see where he went in the draft that I just did yesterday, but I don't have that pulled up, so I'm not going to have it quickly. But yeah, I mean, some young, impressionable rookie fantasy player. I don't know that I really want to start their career off with a Zion meltdown and ruining their season. So I think I would caution anyone to just generally stay away from Zion. He went at the end of the 4th round in that draft I did yesterday. So that's still too early. That's where he went last year. And even if he plays and doesn't get hurt and balls out, he still doesn't block shots. He still doesn't hit threes. He's not I mean, the stats just don't justify where he is drafted.
End of the 4th round in an expert draft with 10 teams.
Correct.
That's insane. That's 39. Insane. That's insane. Don't say the name of the person that made the draft pick because I'm not trying to call that person insane, but that decision is insane. Let me tell you I updated my rankings last night, Doc, with the FVV news. I wanted to find out where Shepard is. I moved Hero down a whole bunch. And adjust, I mean, like a living, breathing document, right? Like we say, let me take you to the end of my 3rd round. Okay. I don't know if I can give all these guys away. I'm seeing Flag. Okay. I'm seeing Jalen Green. I'm seeing Wagner. And I mean, I got a couple other big names there that have fallen from, our guy Anthony Davis keeps taking L's when I'm in the lab, dude. But I mean, would you rather have Cooper Flag or Zion Williamson?
Well, Flag, it's not close.
Would you rather have
Flag has a chance for blocks, steals, and threes. I mean, he should have blocks, steals, and threes. He's going to score. He's going to score like Zion. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Flag.
All right, so I think we made the point there. I wouldn't recommend him. I would not. And this is like, it's almost like, Doc, we're wine connoisseurs, right? We're like smelling the wine, moving it around the thing, and some guy that really doesn't know wine, hey, can you give me a wine recommendation? I mean, that's what you're here for, right? Basketball recommendations. Don't draft Zion. Don't believe the hype. Remember the old Public Enemy song? Don't believe the hype. Ooh, yeah. All right, dude. So Joe Dumars gave us some health updates on a couple of these Pelicans, okay? He's the VP now of the Pels. And Trey Murphy with the shoulder. Doc, we got completely greenlit on Trey Murphy, okay? He's been scrimmaging for a few weeks, had the surgery in March for the torn labrum in his right shoulder. According to Dumars, scrimmaging for a few weeks will not be restricted when the team opens training camp. Gigantic news. So let's stop there. So tell me, are you moving Trey Murphy up, or do you feel like you already had Murphy ranked to that healthy point?
Yeah, once I heard he was healthy a few weeks ago, I locked in on him. I drafted him yesterday. 10-team league at the end of round 5, so in a 12-team league, he was a 6th-round pick. Like I love that. Seems like the spot. I mean, I just, there's so much upside with Trey Murphy, and the fact he's healthy and playing for a crappy team, like it should be a fun season.
I've got Trey Murphy decently ranked. I'm with Doc. I co-sign everything he said. You want a Pelican to draft? Okay. He's the guy. More than Zion, more than Jordan Poole. He's the guy. And this is fantastic news. There's a lot of upside there with Trey Murphy. Now, DeJounte Murray, Doc, Joe Dumars has no return timetable set for him. He ruptured his right Achilles in a late January game. So again, we're looking mid-year, late year. Maybe he doesn't play at all. And you don't have to really chime in on that. I just wanted to give that news. Here's something I do want you to chime in on. We got some news about Darius Garland, Doc. Cleveland.com's Chris Fedor, Cavs insider. Darius Garland will participate in training camp in a very limited capacity. The sentence starts out promising. Will participate in a very limited capacity. He injured his right toe in a March 23rd game, and then obviously had surgery in June. He has resumed some on-court activities, Doc. He'll be limited here. And according to Fedor, Garland could miss regular season like the first 10 to 15 games. Writing, he looks good. He's stronger. He's more stout. He's has a great attitude. I think his mental is in the right place. This is what Kobe Altman is saying about Garland. The biggest thing is how we start the ramp up from a conditioning standpoint. That's not something that can happen in 2 weeks. I think he's had a really good offseason from a strength perspective. Doc, this is all really positive on Darius Garland because he's in the ramp-up phase right now. He's doing on-court stuff. He's obviously been cleared. So now it's about getting him back into game shape. And if Garland misses the first 10 to 15 games, then that marries with what I've been thinking. Yeah, he might miss about the first month of the regular season and then be the fantastic point guard that we know him to be. So how is this hitting you?
You know, casual NBA fans always say that the NBA season doesn't start for them until Christmas. Christmas Day is the kickoff of NBA because NFL's winding down and all the football people start migrating over to hoops. And I think if you are talking about Darius Garland, you got to kind of look at Christmas Day being the start of his real season. So you draft him in early October, mid-October, sit on him for a month, and then hopefully you'll be ready to unleash him around Christmas time at full speed. I like that. If you have an injured reserve spot in your league, that works. You can throw Darius Garland in there and wait till he's ready to roll full time and do it. So Garland went at the end of round 7. So like, is that 70th? I think. 70th in that draft I did yesterday. So that's value right there, man. That is value. Draft him late, stash him, and then let him rip.
Dude, I've got, and you know me, Doc. I've been like really solid on Darius Garland. I've not really been that worried. I promise you, I'm ranking him higher than everybody else in the fantasy basketball space. And I won't tell you my exact ranking, but it's quite high. It's not like top 40, but it's pretty high. So this is really good news on Darius Garland. Full green light if you want to draft him, stash him. I'm not trying to sink your battleship. I don't think we're going to have to wait till Christmas. I think around Thanksgiving, we're going to be very excited that Darius Garland is part of our fantasy basketball party. All right, couple of signings here, Doc. Thomas Bryant to the Cavaliers, and I've got Thomas Bryant as a third string center on the Cavaliers behind Jarrett Allen and Larry Nance Jr. Thomas Bryant to the Cavs. Any quick comments on that?
I mean, if it doesn't move the needle when I think about my 30 deep draft, then it doesn't move the needle for this show. He's third string center. If Larry Nance and Jarrett Allen go down, then we can revisit this.
Exactly. And we had another signing, Doc. Precious Achiuwa has gone to the Miami Heat. And this just came down like overnight. I don't even think I had Precious on my Heat depth chart. We have a, Doc, hit me with the sponsor here. We have a live depth chart update right now.
Sponsored by FanDuel.
I love it, dude. All right, so I'm putting Achiuwa at third string center on the Miami Heat. They're weird at center, dude. They don't really have a lot of centers. And Achiuwa really kind of isn't even a center. He's a power forward who plays up. But I've got Ware, Jovic, and Achiuwa because, Doc, I don't know if I missed a signing of a two-way guy or something, but I see Fontecchio, Little, Jaquez, Jovic. I don't really see any bigs outside of Khalil Ware here. Not that matters much, but it's just an observation. Your thoughts on Achiuwa to the Heat?
Yeah, I hope Achiuwa doesn't mess with Khalil Ware's minutes. And Achiuwa's been around. Do you think he's a
threat? Do you think he's a threat?
I mean, Achiuwa's been around long enough, man. Like, he's a veteran. He's got a lot of experience. He's a solid role player when he plays. I don't think he's a threat to like steal Khalil Ware's job, but I mean, I could see Coach Spo really liking Precious Achiuwa and giving him some run. And that would possibly affect Bam. It would possibly affect Khalil Ware. But this is not something that's going to keep me up at night or something I'm actually worried about. I'm just in the back of my mind. Like, I hope Achiuwa's arrival doesn't mess up anybody's minutes.
This is a return to home. Doc, Precious Achiuwa's first year in the NBA back in 2021 was in Miami. They drafted him, 20th overall in the 2020 NBA draft. So, and that's the same regime down there in Miami. So obviously there's a relationship there. It actually, because of that, there's a little bit more chance that he may nip into the minutes of Khalil Ware, but I don't know. This isn't Khalil Ware's the future. I think it's a nice bench piece for Miami. And you know, I don't Jovic or him, I don't know, but Jovic isn't a 5. They got a weird depth chart in Miami, but Miami's whole thing is we go positionless. They're not really worried about all that.
I do think it's a good real life addition for Miami. I think he's one of those guys that any team would be happy to have. So he'll probably fit in well in Miami. And like you said, it's the people that drafted him are all still there. So there's a relationship. I think it's a good signing for the Heat.
Shout out to Coach O and Eric Glass, my homies down there. All right, Doc, it is top 86 time. We are going to go from 73 to 86 in ADP, and we are going to evaluate, do we like it or not? Okay. Deandre Ayton at 73. Doc, how is this hitting your fantasy basketball palette?
Well, I feel like you and I have gone from never Ayton to kind of like Ayton. He's playing for the Lakers. Hopefully LeBron and Luka have put a boot in his you-know-what. And we always talk about how you can get decent centers late in your draft and you don't need to like go all in on centers early. Look, round 9 of that draft I did yesterday, Mark Williams, Rudy Gobert, Kristaps Porzingis, Khalil Ware, Daniel Gafford, and DeAndre Ayton. All those viable centers. And I got Ayton with the 9th pick of the 9th round. So I'm feeling DeAndre Ayton this year. I don't think he's one of my guys. I don't think he will actually make my list, but he might. I like it.
I've got him at least a round higher than this at 73. So I'm going to mark it down. He may be the best value pick of this round for me. It's something that we do at the end of our round by round evaluations. So yeah, I agree with everything Doc said. I don't really know. I mean, I'm looking at Doc, I'm looking at a floor of 14, 11, and 1 from DeAndre Ayton. And here's what I think a lot of people, guys, rebounds matter. It's a huge category. And there aren't that many. I'm going to go to ESPN right now, Doc. There aren't that many 10 rebound per game guys. You think there's a million of them, or that these double-double guys just, pardon me, grow on trees. They don't. I'm going back to last year, Doc, and I'm bang on. There's even less than I thought. There were 10 guys who averaged 10 boards last year. 10 guys. Sabonis, Kat, Jokic, Zubac, the thing just updated on me, Kessler, Giannis, Gobert, Duran, Şengün, Vucevic, and did I miss a guy? Vuce, Şengün, Duran, Gobert, Giannis, Kessler, Zubac, Jokic, Towns, Sabonis. That's it. Okay. Jared Allen wasn't even a 10-board guy. Bam Adebayo was not a 10-board guy. Evan Mobley was not a 10-board guy. Okongwu was not a 10-board guy. I'll stop there. But 10 rebound guys, Doc, are a rare commodity in fantasy basketball. And Ayton is always a 10 rebound guy. And so that matters.
Yeah. And I mean, I go back to, the floor, his floor is set. His ceiling is still untapped because he's been an underachiever his whole career. And his career stats are not bad. Like Ayton gets a really bad rap, but it's more of in reality. I mean, he just does what he does. And if Luka and LeBron have gotten into his ear, and if we see a highly motivated DeAndre Ayton, he could really do something this year. So I think there's a good amount of upside to go along with a solid floor.
All right, fellas and ladies, if you're watching us on Twitter, make sure you're following at Ethos Fantasy NBA, at Ethos Fantasy NBA. Also, a quick heads up, not all of our episodes are available here. If you want to hang out with us live, subscribe to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. And if you want to stay fully up to date with our work here on the pod, subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. All right. And while you're at it, drop us a 5-star review. Thank you. It's crucial for us this time of year, and we really appreciate it. Now, back to the top 86. All right. As we go to Jakob Poeltl. Another double-ish type of guy, but also some dudes are all in on Jakob Poeltl. Some dudes are really sleeping on Jakob Poeltl. How about you?
As far as 5-star reviews, give us a 5-star review. If you like the show and you watch it and you're learning something, give us a 5-star review because it's easy, it's quick. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to log in anything. Just give us 5 stars, man. Come on. I feel like an Uber driver. Like, hey, man, give me 5 stars. Jakob Poeltl. I would not say I'm a big Jakob Poeltl guy. I do respect Jakob Poeltl. Like you talk about a guy that flies under the radar and just does the same thing night in and night out. It's Jakob Poeltl. Now, I feel like he was hurt a lot last year. I didn't have any shares of Jakob Poeltl last year. I doubt I will this year, but I will say this: if it's late, and I look like in the draft I did yesterday, I didn't go centers early. So at the end of my draft, I was like, man, I need to find some centers. And the list was getting very short. So there is a world that I would happily draft Jakob Poeltl late, but not a guy I necessarily target. And I guess I just have some aversion to Toronto and the Raptors.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah.
I think we got to add somebody else to the career year list. I think his name is Jakob Poeltl. 14 and a half points a game last year, by far a career high. 9.6 rebounds, career high. 2.8 assists, career high. 1.2 steals, career high. 1.2 blocks was not a career high. 62.7 from the field, not a career high. And I believe we had a career high in free throw shooting. Yes, we did. 674. Career high in free throw shooting. That's like 5 career highs for Jakob Poeltl in year 29. Bam, bam. I'm out. I don't want it. I already didn't want Jakob Poeltl, Doc. I have him ranked. His ADP here is 74. I've got him ranked at 92. So y'all knock yourselves out with Jakob Poeltl, the name that literally nobody outside of the hardcore basketball space can pronounce. Trust me. You go into a sports bar and say, how do you say the center's name for Toronto? They'll say Jakob Poeltl or something. I promise you they will not hit it.
No, they'll say, who is the center for Toronto? Who are you talking about?
That's a good.
And then you'll have to show them the name, and then they'll say Jakob Poeltl.
So I'm a round and a half below this ADP, Doc. So y'all knock yourselves out with Jakob Poeltl. Add him to the list, Doc. Career year, Jakob Poeltl. I have a career year theory where if you have a career year, I fade you the year coming off of that. And so Jakob Poeltl falls into that. Alex Sarr is next, Doc. 75. I can already tell you that I do not like Jakob Poeltl or DeAndre Ayton being ranked over Alex Sarr. Let's start there.
I mean, Alex Sarr is the definition of big man upside. Like, he's the poster child of it. Maybe him and Donovan Clingan, right? I love Alex Sarr. I would draft Sarr before I draft Ayton or Poeltl. Yeah, so I disagree with this ADP. I feel like he should be going at least a round earlier.
So, gosh, I'm going up. Wow. Yeah, what I will say is I've Sarr in my top 50. I'll be kind of vague and say it like that. So I'm like, I don't know, 2 rounds off of this. Dude, okay, so another huge value here. Putting some stars by him. Alex Sarr, I think he, for me, so far is the best value pick of this round. The thing with Alex Sarr, Doc, he's trending and tracking towards being a Miles Turner, Jaren Jackson Jr. type. Look at the rebound number last year, right? It's not great. And he's a perimeter big. So I think we may be getting 6, 7 boards. I don't think we're getting up to 8, 9, 10 with him. So, but that's not a deterrent for me, because what I'm looking for is 2 blocks and 2 threes per game from a big. And I can't guarantee that Sarr is going to do that, but he has the skill set to do that. He has the potential to do that. So I think he's a really good value pick here at 75. How about Paul George at 76, Doc? Are you agreeing with this ADP?
Well,
why are you pausing?
I'm not drafting Paul George at 36, 56, 76, 96, 126. But if you want to take a flyer on Paul George in round 7 or 8, have at it. Hopefully you have Zion Williamson too.
Okay, yeah, that was brief. I thought we were going to get more.
I mean, it's Paul George, dude.
I got some stuff to say about Paul George as well, Doc. Copy and paste what you just said into my mouth. You can have him at 36. You can have him at 56. You can have him at 226. I all kidding aside, I will tell you where I will draft Paul George. I will draft Paul George. I will draft Paul George on my time, not your time. I will draft Paul George at 104. At 104, okay, because I'm looking at the guy. I don't really like the guy's blown. Like, even if Paul George gives me 40 games, those 40 games are going to be pretty damn good stats, right? So I do have him at 104. But above him, I've got the zinger, his teammate Embiid. I've got Brandon Ingram above Paul George. You know why? Because I'm crazy loco, but also, Doc, because Brandon Ingram is, wait a second, healthy right now? Healthy right now? And Paul George is not. Okay, so that's why I've got Ingram over Paul George, but they're both on the dead to me list. So Paul George, I mean, I've got him ranked almost 30 spots behind ADP here. Like that 76 ADP, y'all, bam, wake up, frying pan upside the head. What are you doing taking Paul George this high? There's so many more exciting players around him that you should be targeting. So let's move on here. Here's one. I mean, I maybe take the word exciting out of this, but you know, Doc, I'm kind of sort of in on Immanuel Quickley this year. I don't think he's going to be in my pop player article. It's not like that, but so he'd probably be in, like, I think we're going to do a show of guys that just fall short of my pop player article. He would probably be one of those guys. But he's at 77. What do you think about his ADP, Dr. A?
If I get down to the end of a draft and I start realizing that I've got a point guard shortage and Quickley is sitting there, I would draft Quickley, but I'm not targeting him. 77 sounds like there's lots of room for that to be a value pick. Like, he's a pretty good player with a lot of potential. So I think that it says value pick to me. I kind of like that ADP.
So let's see here. I'm moving around, Doc. I'm sorry to stammer here, guys. I was just looking where I had him ranked, and I've got all these damn boxes and browsers, and I got kind of lost in the soup there. I've got Immanuel Quickley, Doc, as a top 50 player. And I've actually got him right on 50. So at 77, again, we have found the value round, my friend. We have found the value round here. Ayton, huge value. Sarr, huge value. Quickley, huge value. All here in this round. I've kind of lost track of, are we in round 7, round 8? I know we're doing the top 86 here, going from 73 to 86. So we're finding a lot of value here for you guys, okay? Peyton Pritchard, Doc, is at 78. Is that another value pick?
Oh, yeah. I love Peyton Pritchard. Boston, we kind of think Boston might be tanking. Pritchard, first of all, he's beloved in Boston. And I think even if Boston were to shut, say, Derek White and Jaylen Brown down, which I don't know that they're going to do that in the first place, Pritchard seems immune from being shut down. And he's coming off a career year, so maybe that gives you pause, Rick. But dude hit a lot of threes last year, played solid minutes, and he's scrappy, man. Like, I really like Peyton Pritchard, and I will he'll be on a lot of my teams this year.
Here's the difference. So let me address the career year aspect with Peyton Pritchard. Doc, I don't like, my career year theory doesn't really apply to Peyton Pritchard because, like, my whole thing, the filter that I use is case by case. And Peyton Pritchard has been barely played. So let's look at this, right? Jakob Poeltl, like we just talked about. When you hit me with your absolute best season in the NBA in age 29, right? So you've never done this before, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you do that. That's a career year. That's the blip in the radar that I don't believe. Zubats last year, right? All these years in the NBA, 7, 8 years, bam, pops last year. Okay, Peyton Pritchard in year 5 popped. But check it, Doc. His minutes went 19, 14, 13. Okay, those were his first 3 years. Throw those out, bro. 2 years ago, played all 82 games, got up to 22 minutes, and was at 9.6, 3 and 3, almost 2 threes per game, 38%, right? So he was starting the ascent. Last year, 28 minutes a game, okay? He scored 14 with 3 and 3, 3.2 threes, career year. But this is just the pattern of his development and ascension. Do you know what I'm saying? So
he's basically only had 2 years. So he was better the second year than he was the first. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, and we think, and look, his role is going to expand this year. And I love what you said. He is shutdown proof. Even if they shut dudes down, they're still going to put the cute, cuddly Peyton Pritchard out there for the homies in Boston. Okay, they are. We know how that rolls out there. I've got Peyton Pritchard, Doc, right on this ADP at 1 off. I'm at 77 on Pritchard, and they've got him at 78. Okay, so I think that's very, very appropriate there. Mark Williams at 79, Doc. Do you like or dislike this ADP?
I like it. I don't know if he can stay healthy, but when he played last season, the ghost turned into a human being, because we used to always be like, he's a myth. He's not real, but he showed up last year and he was good, man. There's a reason that there was a lot of hype on him coming in a few years ago. He can block shots, he can rebound. And he's a good player, man. I really like Mark Williams. I'm worried about his injuries, but you're taking a guy around the 80th pick of your draft. It minimizes a lot of the risk that would be there if you were drafting him earlier. So seems like a really good spot to get him. I like the ADP and I like the player.
Mark Williams is part of the reason why I'm kind of high on Phoenix. I shouldn't say I'm kind of high. Like I'm bubblicious with Phoenix. I think they're going to be a playing tournament team. I really do. So that I'm not high on them, but I don't think they're going to suck. I don't think they're going to shut it down. I think they're going to be just kind of a solid competitive. They're going to win some games they shouldn't. They'll lose some games. You're like, Phoenix, what the hell, dude? But Mark Williams going there, guys, they've been searching for a center for a minute here, and they have it now. I mean, he's a highly drafted guy, big time prospect out of Duke, and comes off his career year. But again, that's a part of a career ascension thing. He's still a super young guy. So we now, Doc, and I'm way over this ADP. I've got him in my top 60. So I'm a round and a half up on Mark Williams here. So, Doc, we have now 4 tremendous value picks in this round: DeAndre Ayton, Alex Sarr, Immanuel Quickley, and Mark Williams, at least for me. So let's keep it moving here. We have found the value round, folks, until we get to this pick. Okay. Because amid all of this value, we have Paul George, who just it's like we have vomit in our mouths, right? In terms of a fantasy perspective. Paul, we like you as a human. We're talking about fantasy basketball over here, and you never play, so not sorry, okay? But Brandon Ingram is here at 80, Doc. Do you like or dislike this ADP?
Well, before I talk about BI, I just want to say that Rick and I love to compete in fantasy basketball. That's why we are playing in the Sports Ethos Fantasy Basketball Leagues this season and plan to continue doing it in the future. If you want to join hundreds of GMs already competing, email support@sportsethos.com. Andre will get you a spot. Come compete against us as some of the best fantasy minds in the world. Brewski, Mark, Camaro, all of us will be playing. We offer both free and cash leagues, so everyone has a chance to play and compete. If you play against me in a fantasy basketball league, you will not have to worry about me having Brandon Ingram on my team. He will not happen. I don't care how far he drops. I don't give a rat's, how healthy he is. I have not seen Brandon Ingram play basketball in 2 seasons. I don't recall the last time I saw him running up and down the court. The last time I remember being annoyed by him, he had a toe injury that never went away and kept him out for half a season. Rick likes to say he doesn't love the game. I say it every time, but I don't understand why Toronto went all in on Brandon Ingram and gave him all this money. Like, whatever. No, thank you. Swing away and do whatever you want at 80 with Brandon Ingram, but not for me.
Same. It's the exact same thing with Paul George as with Brandon Ingram. I have them both ranked right next to each other and 2 rounds later than this. Okay, you're completely wetting the bed if you take Paul George or Brandon Ingram in this round versus, guys, this is why you take forwards and smalls early, because right here, Doc, is that like rich ground you can grow corn in, right? Like you can harvest crops in this ground of big men right here. You're getting Allen and Duran and Ayton and Sarr, and you're getting all these stud bigs. You do not need to mess around with a wing that's going to play 40 games in this round. Please don't screw it up, people, because you're going to hate your team if you take Brandon Ingram and Paul George. You're going to freaking hate your team. And you're going to be crying in the, I don't mean you're going to be like coming to us during the season on the Fantasy NBA Today, brought to you by FanDuel. Help, Doc and Cam, help, Brew, help. My team sucks. I drafted Paul George. We've been telling you, don't do it. Don't draft Brandon Ingram. All right, R.J. Barrett's at 81, Doc. Do you like or dislike that ADP?
You know, to piggyback on what you were just saying about Paul George, like I've told this story before, but last year I panicked in round 3 of my main league that I love, and I took Paul George, and as soon as I clicked it, and as soon as it popped up and said, you just drafted Paul George, I just had this sick, queasy feeling in my stomach. I was like, I just lost this league. I knew as soon as I did it. And I had a good team other than Paul George, but you can't blow your third round pick or whatever it was. RJ Barrett plays in Canada, and I have said that I don't pay that much attention to the Raptors, but I do kind of like RJ Barrett, especially in a points league, man. If you're in a points league, RJ Barrett's pretty fun. If you're in a categories league, he can mess you up in a couple places, but he's coming off a good year. Rick, is he coming off a career year? I think he might be coming off a career year, but I would mess with RJ Barrett if I needed a scorer late in my draft. There are other players I would be targeting. I can tell you right now, he's not going to be on my guys list. I'm probably not going to have RJ Barrett on a lot of teams, but in a points league, or if it was late in a different kind of league and I needed a scorer, I'm not opposed to drafting RJ Barrett. But I do worry about what he and Brandon Ingram are going to do to each other. It's interesting that they're going back to back ADP.
Doc, very interesting question about career year for RJ Barrett. I had already done the evaluation on this, but I wanted to refresh my memory. It's career year-ish. Okay. 21 points a game was a career high, but twice before he was at 20, and he's been at 19.6. So, okay. Career year at 6.3 rebounds. He's been at 5.8 a couple of times. Career high at 5.4 assists, which is actually up about 2 assists from his previous career high. Actually, not a career high in combined defensive stats. They still sucked at 1.1 combined. 1.83 balls, not a career high. He had 2 per game with the Knicks in year 3. It's career year-ish, Doc. But again, we got a young guy. That last year was his age 24 season. It was his first full season in Toronto. So I'll give you this. I do see some attrition off of this because Quickley's going to play more. Ingram might play more. So I don't think we're going to get 5 assists a game from RJ Barrett. I'll tell you right now. And I'm not ranking him thinking he's going to do that. I'm looking at like 20 points, 5 boards, 3.5 dimes, crappy defense, and like 2 threes. That's what I'm looking for from RJ Barrett. So how are you processing that analysis right there, Doc?
Yeah, I feel like the 5 dimes last year was kind of fluky because I think that's why I had it in my mind that he had a career year, because I think he had career highs in in PRA.
He did.
Those assists were surprising. But like you said, there's a lot of turnovers. There's not many blocks and steals. So there are holes in the game. But and again, Brandon Ingram being there and playing is certainly going to have an impact on R.J. Barrett's touches because Scottie Barnes needs the rock too, and so does Immanuel Quickley. So there's a lot going on there, and I'm going to treat R.J. Barrett sort of like he's coming off a career year because I don't think he can match those numbers this year.
Completely agree. I think it's well spotted by you there. He's Pirtle gets the full career year treatment. Barrett gets half career year treatment. Peyton Pritchard gets no career year treatment. All right. But I'm right on this ADP, Doc. I've got RJ Barrett at 78 and his ADP here is 81. So I think this is a really good spot to draft RJ Barrett. Isaiah Hartenstein is next at 82, Doc. Do you like or dislike this ADP on Hartenstein?
Going back to BI and the rest of the Raptors, crazy that there are 4 starting Raptors all in that first 7 or 8 ADP range of this round. Like that's bizarre. So there's Scottie Barnes in the 2nd or 3rd round, and then everybody else is down in the 80s. Weird.
That's weird. Cool.
Hartenstein. Man, I like Isaiah Hartenstein. I wish he didn't have to play alongside Chet Holmgren. I wish Isaiah Hartenstein had his own gig. I wish he was Toronto's center. Or somebody else's center where they didn't have Chet Holmgren on the team. I like Hartenstein a lot as long as he's playing with Chet and as long as he's playing with such a good team that has to give the ball to everybody. He's just never going to be the fantasy stud that he could be. So I think the 80s is an appropriate place for him to be going. I think it's an appropriate place to take him. I just wish we could take him a little bit higher if he had his own gig.
Shout out to AJ in the live comments said, quote, say no to Ingram and Paul George, end quote. Back in the day, they just say no. Just say no to they used to say something else back in the day. The politicians back in the 80s just say no to look it up. It's a family show.
Drugs.
I don't know. Yeah, there you go. What Doc said.
But in our world, it's just say no to Joel Embiid. Just say no to Brandon Ingram. Just say no.
I'm gonna say no to Hartenstein at 82, bro. I'm saying no to Hartenstein at 82. His rebounds dropped. The overall numbers, Doc, in the second half, which were the Chet Holmgren games, the overall numbers were still good from Hartenstein. I will still mess with him, okay? However, the rebound number dropped significantly. It dropped by like 3 pre-All-Star to post-All-Star, and that's sharing the paint and all that space with Chet, and he's a really good rebounder too. So I don't think he's going to be a double-double guy. Probably like 11 and 9, 3.5, right around a block and a steal. You know, a solid big man line. But at 82, I think you're going to be able to get better talent. And so I'll just leave it at that. But I don't hate this ADP. I'm about a round later than this ADP, and I would mess with Hartenstein at that spot. Onyeka Okongwu, Doc, is at 83. Is this too high of an ADP for Okongwu?
It's really hard to say because Kristaps Porzingis is in Atlanta. Clint Capella's gone. So, I mean, it should have been, we should be getting ready for a full load of Okongwu this season, but now it's going to be an every other game thing because I guess Okongwu's the new Al Horford. You play Horford one game and Porzingis the other for the Celtics last year. This year, it's you play Okongwu one game and then Porzingis gets to start the next night. So at least we think that's how it's going to go. We don't really know yet. And maybe Okongwu can play some power forward. Maybe they play Porzingis at some power forward. We don't know how it's all going to shake down. I like the fact that Okongwu shoots threes. I like his game. I don't like the timeshare. But, at this point in the draft, like, there's not many centers left. And you may be at the point where it's round 9 or 10, and you're looking at you refine your search down to just the remaining centers on the board. Kongwu may be the best one there. So I would draft him. It seems a little too early for a Kongwu for me, but I don't hate it. That's wishy-washy, but that's where I am.
One of the biggest training camp things, Doc, is does Kristaps Porzingis start at power forward for the Hawks, which would mean a Kongwu is their center. And then Reece Shea would come off the bench. Obviously, you would start Jalen Johnson if healthy with Daniels and Trae Young. So, Doc, this is going to be gigantic if a Kongwu starts at center and Porzingis is the 4 and Jalen's the 3. Okongwu's going to shoot up my rankings like 50 spots because I have him poorly ranked right now. I'm not even close to this ADP. I got him at 110, okay? And I like Okongwu, but I think he's going to be a bench player, and I think he's going to play when Porzingis doesn't. I don't really want to deal with that yo-yo. You guys all knock yourselves out with that yo-yo. But if I find out that Okongwu is starting, okay, I mean, I don't know how high I'm going to move him up, but maybe it is 50 spots. That's going to be a dramatic turn of events. What happens with Okongwu? And I just, while you were talking, Doc, I looked online, and again, it's AI. AI has been letting me down recently. I don't know what Andre's hearing, but AI is telling me that it is expected and likely that Porzingis starts at PF, and it is expected and likely that Okongwu is the starting center. Okay, I'm not going to change my rankings based on AI because AI has been effing me over lately. Okay. It's becoming more and more unreliable, if you ask me. And I'm not a hater on technology at all. I ask AI questions, and it gives me wrong answers. A lot of times about the WNBA, okay, which also kind of pisses me off. So I'm way later than this right now. I need to see the Okongwu starting at center, but I do not like this ADP where we sit right now.
The bottom line, though, Rick, is even if Okongwu starts, he's the 5th option for the Hawks. He's not going to get more shots than Dyson Daniels or any of those other guys you mentioned. So his value will come mostly from hitting, a 3 here and there, getting rebounds and blocks and scoring a few points. So the ranking's probably appropriate, whether he starts or whether he does, or at least this ADP, whether if he starts, I think this ADP is appropriate. If he doesn't start, then your ranking is appropriate.
And again, I believe that if Okongwu starts, I believe he'll have more value than 83. Because, Doc, you're right. He would be the 5th option. However, he'll be the garbage man. Porzingis is a wing big. So Okongwu is going to have the paint. Okongwu is going to be inhaling all the rebounds. So I would see like 10 points, 10.5 boards. I would see a double-double from him with maybe 1-1-1 in the block, steals, and threes. So let's move on. But that's a huge thing. Maybe the number one thing, Doc, for me, right? Right now, that's at the top of my rotational list. And I know we're like looking at Utah. I'm looking at Utah. Walter Clayton Jr. Are you going to play the homie or not? This kid reminds me of Steph Curry. 84, Doc, is Cam Thomas. Do you like or dislike this ADP?
He was one of my guys the last couple of years. He's not going to be one of my guys this year. He plays in Brooklyn. He's on a 1-year deal. He's probably going to be mad. He could be shut down. He's kind of a gunner. He doesn't have a fantasy friendly game outside of points and threes. So I'm probably out on Cam Thomas this year.
It took me a minute to find where Cam was in my rankings. I've got him at 105. And the ADP here is at 84. So I'm 2 rounds back. Cam Thomas is a guy, I don't know what to make of this. Well, I do know what to make of this, but in fantasy, the reality of the situation is going to lead to, I think, a very weird fantasy year for Cam Thomas. He has fallen out of favor with the team. He may drift to a bench role as they look at all the young guys. He may turn an ankle and they may say, goodbye, you're not playing anymore for us. I don't know. I'm not dealing with it. I'm 2 rounds later than this ADP on Cam Thomas. And Doc said it. He doesn't block. He doesn't steal. He's not a huge 3-ball guy, Doc. He's a downhill pull-up mid-range guy. Okay, he is not. He'll hit 2 threes a game, but even if he averages 23 points, he'll still be at right around 2 threes. He's not a surplus 3-point guy. So it's really kind of big point number. Not super efficient, not that I care, but I think he's kind of overrated, Doc. And I am a Cam Thomas guy. Can't wait to see what's next for him in that next role. But we don't know what that is, and I don't want to deal with it. There's better options here, as we've explained throughout this round. Cam Johnson, okay, right here at 85. I would rather have Cam Johnson than Cam Thomas. Let's start there.
I've just got it stuck in my head that Cam Johnson is a big injury risk. He only plays half a season. He's on a new team. He's got a new role, but I'm not messing with Cam Johnson. I just feel like he gets hurt too much.
I don't think I would just correct the word big. I think he is an injury risk, but I don't think it's big. Like LaMelo Ball, Zion Williamson, those to me are big injury risks. Because Cam Johnson's gone 57, 60, 66, 42, 58, 57. Let's put big back in front of that, Doc. Let's go ahead and just slide big right back in there where you had it. Let's just put up right back in there, dude. Where do I have
replacing the word big? Brought to you by FanDuel.
So, and then reinserting big. Pause. So I've got Cam Johnson at 88. And his ADP here is 85. Okay, so I'm right. I'm right on this number, Doc. I'm kind of bullish is strong. I'm favorable on Cam Johnson in his new stomping grounds of Denver. I think it's going to lead to him playing more. I think he's going to have a good year, dude. I'm as the kids say, I'm bleeping with Cam Johnson. And then lastly in this round, Doc, we have a hot button guy. And Doc, the fantasy basketball masses are officially on Andrew Nembhard. Bro, this looks to me like the value has been vacuumed out of Andrew Nembhard. He's 86. Do you agree or disagree with this ADP?
It seems a little bit high, but I think everybody's excited about him because no Tyrese Halliburton. And it's jacked up his draft stock, and it's also jacked it up because now he's going high enough that the value is sucked out of it. I do like him though, and I think it's not going to hurt your team to draft Andrew Nembhard in the 8th or 9th round. It's just not. So, but yeah, it's. I'm sure you were hoping to see him a little bit lower because I feel like Nembhard is one of your guys. Like you want some Nembhard. And I'll take Nembhard if I need a point guard, but I'm not targeting him.
Okay. I am higher on Nembhard than Doc is. So I'm at 73 on Nembhard, and the ADP here is 86. I'm a round up on Nembhard. So there's value here. And I was saying all the value's been sucked out, but then juxtaposing it against my ranking, and I'm a round ahead of this. So there is still value with Andrew Nembhard. Not very much, though. And if he starts having some big preseason games, all that value will be sucked out, and he will probably move up about a round. Andre's asking, what would it take for Nembhard to meet and or beat this ADP? It's a great question. For me, Andrew Nembhard, I'm looking at PRA, okay, because he's not a great fantasy gold guy, not a big three baller, not a huge steal guy, although I think there's significant upside in both those categories with a big time increase in playing time and just sort of responsibility. But we may or may not get that stuff. But Doc, I'm looking for a really healthy PRA, like a 15, 5, and 7 kind of thing, right? So I don't know that he's necessarily going to get that high, but he's got the potential to do that. And a lot of people, I think, look at this maybe as a timeshare with him and McConnell. I know that Rick Carlisle's always got 30 minutes for Andrew Nembhard. So McConnell may get 24, but somebody else is going to have to take the haircut. Maybe it's Mathurin. Carlisle loves Nembhard. Okay, so that's all I got to say, dude. But I see a big time PRA from Nembhard this year. That's why I'm high on him.
All right.
So Doc, we have made it through this round. What is the best value pick of this round for you, sir?
That's a tough one, man. We talked about most of these guys. I'm going to say for me, I like Peyton Pritchard.
Okay. My best value pick in this round is Alex Sarr. He is my highest ranked player. I've got him way up the board from this. Like it's way up the board. So Alex Sarr is my answer to this. Alex Sarr at 75 to me is creme de la creme. Bon appetit. Okay. I'm getting hungry here, Doc. So my brain drifted off to Thanksgiving dinner right there. I don't know why. That was kind of weird. It's fall though. We're not that far away. All right, Doc, we have reached the FanDuel futures portion of our show. Guys, go to FanDuel.com, get your bet on, get your sports investment on, all the stuff, man. The WNBA games going on right now, MLB, all the football games. And obviously we're looking ahead at the NBA. We look ahead today at most improved player. Doc, let me give you some odds right here. Amen Thompson, plus 850. Andrew Nebhard, plus 1,000. Denny Abdia, plus 1,400. Osar Thompson, plus 1,600. Benny Matherin, plus 2,200. Matas Buzelis, 2,200. Jaden Ivey, 2,500. Shaden Sharp, 3,000. Let me skim here. Giddey is at 3,000. Peyton Pritchard's at 3,000. Jalen Johnson's at 4,000. And I'll stop there. So give me one that you like. Give me one that you don't like. And give me a dark horse if you want. Just take a rip, dude.
I like Buzelis at 2,200. If Buzelis gets 30 minutes and starts like we're hearing he might, he could take a huge leap. And for most improved, like it's going to be hard for Josh Giddey or Jalen Johnson to win most improved when they were already really good in the past when they were healthy. So I really think that out of that list, Buzelis is the guy that can make the biggest leap, the fastest and easiest path, I guess. Reed Shepherd is a dark horse because, if he starts in Houston now that Fred VanVleet is gone at plus 4,500, you can make some serious bang. If Reed Shepherd's as good as everybody says he is, and he plays a lot of minutes, he's going to ball. So though that would be my dark horse. And as far as one that I don't like, Osar Thompson at plus 1,600, I just don't see him being far enough removed from the blood clotting issue to really blow up this year.
I agree with you on Osar Thompson. He is the guy that I have circled as the bad bet here. And Osar, we love you. I really do like Osar Thompson. I've talked about this. He is not one of my pop players. I don't see a path to a pop. I don't. They're too loaded. They've got too many studs in Detroit. So I think that's bad money. I think by far the best bet on this board. And this might be my favorite future of all the futures, Doc, because I've already had this thought. And I had it again last night when I moved Amen way up my rankings after the Fred VanVleet news. Amen created a lot of L's for a lot of other dudes, dude. Amen is very highly ranked for me right now. And I'm looking at him differently now that FVV's out of the picture. Plus 850, okay, is awesome money on Amen Thompson. I have a prediction for you, Doc. Amen Thompson is going to win most improved player. He is going to win this award. There's very little doubt in my mind about that, because to win most improved, usually you've got to make the all-star team for the first time. That's kind of the trigger of it. And you look back at most of these MIPs are first-time all-stars. It's their first big pop, like mega pop, and that's where the voters go. Amen Thompson's going to have that mega pop this year, and I think could get to the all-star game. Going to be tough. You got Şengün, you got Durant, but teams do get 3 all-stars. All right, so if Houston's just smoking in the standings, and Amen's a huge reason why, he's going to be an MIP candidate. He's going to be a DPOY candidate. He's going to be an all-star candidate, and I see it all happening. Okay, so that's great money there. And then I disagree with you on Josh Giddey very, very respectfully, Doc. I think Josh Giddey is going to flirt with a 20-point triple-double, okay? And so, Doc, I'm going to diss the voters here, not you, okay? You are my conduit to diss the voters, because I think a lot of NBA voters suck and don't know what they're doing. Okay. Doc, they're not going to contextualize that Josh Giddey had his pop at the end of last year. They're not going to contextualize that. They're just going to look and see 14.6, 8.1, 7.2. So what if Giddey's at 19, 10, and 9.5? That's significantly north of 14, 8, and 7. Okay, so that would have the stat increase that the voters are looking for. Also, what if Josh Giddey is averaging a triple-double and makes the freaking all-star team? So I think Josh Giddey at plus 3,000 is really good money as a dark horse. And go to FanDuel.com, and you can wager on these futures as well. And we love FanDuel. All right, we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys are watching us on Twitter, please make sure that you follow at Ethos Fantasy NBA and subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. For Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, for producer Andre Lemouche, I'm Rick Kamla. Thanks for watching the Fantasy NBA Today, brought to you by FanDuel. We'll see you soon.